Again, another wonderful morning to you. Trust things are going well. I want to encourage you to not lose heart in this time, to not get discouraged, but really may God reveal Himself to you as the great comfort in this time, that you are not alone, that He is with you. So really trust that things will go well, and very excited to share the word with you again this morning. So we are continuing around this theme and around 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, where Paul says, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. So we have looked at the spirit of fear. We've looked at power. God has empowered us from above, that His power wants to work in and through us. His power is to work through us, and as His power works through us, it produces love. And seeing that this is our time to love. And today we want to see the last thing that fear tries to stop is from us having a sound mind or self-control. So God has not given us the spirit of fear, we've said, but the Holy Spirit. And again, the enemy is always trying to counter what God is trying to do. So He wants to us, the Holy Spirit wants to empower us with the power of God so we can love like God, so we can act like God, do the works that Jesus did, and even greater works, He said, because we are going to the Father, because He's going to the Father. Now, love really is like a train. Now think of a train. A train needs to run on tracks. Now the train of love runs on the tracks. This powerful love runs on the tracks of self-control. Whereas another translation has it having a sound mind. For fear makes people lose their minds. You cannot love if you lose your mind. You know, if your mind is forever off the tracks, is all over the place. You know, it makes you infatuated with your own problems and the situation and circumstance around you, and you cannot think, let alone help someone else. And that's what fear does. It makes you act and do things in a way that you would never do, you know, when things were peaceful. So we have this saying, a nervous cat makes nervous jumps. And there are a lot of nervous cats around there lately. People jumping around like nervous cats on a hot plate. As A.W. Tozer once said, the battleground, friend, is the mind. And we need to have a sound mind in this time. Not reacting to situations and circumstances, not making emotional decisions, but rather leaning in on God, spending time with God. Make your request known to God. God can handle it. Actually, God would love you. Those things you're struggling with, why not come and speak to God? Come and tell those things to God. Because so often when we approach God, we suddenly change our language and speak in a different way. I mean, you must just be laughing at these things. I mean, come on. Just be yourself. I mean, I read the psalmist. There's things he says there which really encourages me to speak to God as normal and natural as I would to anyone else. Or maybe not even as I would speak to anyone else. I can speak to God. I can pour out my heart before God. Hey, so make your request known to Him, and then instead of reacting, rather respond. Be strengthened in the Lord, so we cannot react emotionally, but respond through the leading of the Spirit with a sound mind and wisdom in the situations that we face. So we have to watch our minds. We have to control our minds, taking every thought and imagination captive which is raised against our knowledge of God, being a faithful and a loving and a caring Father. That's why 2 Corinthians 10 verse 5 is such an important verse, because it says, you know, we cast down all imaginations, we destroy all arguments. There's lots of arguments today about what will happen, what could happen, what is going to happen, what's the future. Lots of arguments, and every lofty opinion. Suddenly everyone is a specialist. Lots of opinions, lots of arguments. And many of these things are raised against our knowledge of God being faithful, kind, in control. And let's take every thought captive to obey Jesus, being ready to punish every disobedience when obedience is complete. So bring our minds into captivity and to obedience of Jesus, rather than letting our minds out to the arguments and opinions of men. As I said before, you cannot stop the birds from flying over your head, but you can stop them from making a nest in your hair. Likewise, Can we not stop the bombardment of all these thoughts and arguments and opinions? Fearful emotions and temptations to give into fear, but we can resist it with a promise that when we submit ourselves to God, when we resist the devil, he will flee from you. When we draw near to God, he will draw near to you. Therefore, resist the spirit of fear. Don't obey, the voice of fear, so that you can hear and obey the voice of the Holy Spirit leading you. This is how we'll be useful to God. This is how we will be used by God to show his powerful love to this world. So again, friends, God has not given us a spirit of fear who tries to rob us of living a powerful life, empowered from above, with the love of God, acting lovingly towards others, and a sound mind, that we can act wisely and not just run after every need and thing around us, but with a sound mind. We can respond to these things with wisdom and show the love of God powerfully and practically in our spheres all around us. Friend, may God use you. May God protect you. May He watch over you. May He give you great peace and comfort this day and every day, to the glory of His wonderful name. Amen.